Taylor Swift is undoubtedly this generation's pop sensation, often referred to as the music industry itself. Her musical talent and on-stage presence is exceptional. Her songwriting style is what sets her apart from many other artists of her time. But what about her actual style? According to many people on the internet, it has taken a steep dip over the last few years.
I went out to the world of Swifties and the army, and I said that she has bad style.
And what did they do in your comments? I know they blew them up.
They blew him up,
Woo.
but you know what? It was mostly, I'm a Swiftie, and I agree.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And some people were like, I agree, but that's the vibe. That she dresses like your best friend in 7th grade.
Taylor Swift has been in the music industry for around 15 years now. To understand why she seems to have taken a backseat in terms of style, we need to analyze patterns throughout her career. Why is Taylor Swift dressing like a run-of-the-mill sorority girl? For the sake of this video and to properly study her style over the years, I will divide this analysis into two sections, her style pre-Reputation and post-Reputation era. I believe her style changed drastically after Reputation, so there's a lot to unpack there. With that being said, I must acknowledge that she ruled the 2010s red carpet scene, and all her albums also had different stylistic themes and corresponding outfits. She is undoubtedly the master at creating engaging visuals through her fashion choices, allowing audiences to relate to her music and distinguish between the themes of her albums. Taylor first burst onto the scene in 2006 with her self-titled debut album. Her style was very much rooted in a youthful country-inspired aesthetic. She often wore knee-length sundresses paired with cowboy boots, reflecting her country music roots. Her look was characterized by bright, eye-popping colors like teal and purple, grounded by brown and white. For formal and red carpet events, she favored sparkly prom-like dresses with frills and ruffles. Her hair was typically styled in tight ringlets, which became one of the most recognizable aspects of her look. It made a lot of sense for her to dress in this cute and approachable way, as she was making country music and was still a teenager. It meshed well with her bouncy melodies and was perfect for on-stage performances. In her second album, Fearless, not much had changed, except her original country chic style became more refined and mature. She donned sparkly fringe dresses that created beautiful movements when she danced. She loved ruffly mini dresses with loose blouses, tulle dresses, and cozy sweaters. Her red carpet style consisted of elegant evening gowns and cocktail dresses. She dressed like a tasteful young lady even though it was so early in her career. Her overall aesthetic was romantic and feminine, focusing on delicate fabrics, pastel colors, and contemporary elements. This era marked a significant step in Taylor's journey from a country music darling to a mainstream pop phenomenon while still maintaining her signature style elements and the good girl persona. Her third album, Speak Now, showcased ball gowns and dresses dialed up a notch from her previous looks. She seemed to be elegantly building upon her style year after year. You could see glimpses of her old look but in a more elevated way. This purple dress from the Speak Now World Tour was iconic, with her sparkly guitar to match. Taylor Swift was on her way to become a fashion icon. Her red carpet fashion included sparkly evening gowns. She began experimenting with bolder colors and patterns, moving beyond the pastels and lighter shades of her earlier looks. Deep reds, purples, and metallics became more prominent in her wardrobe. Her love for vintage-inspired fashion continued, with outfits that had a classic, timeless feel. This included high-waisted skirts, retro dresses, and elegant evening wear. She also started experimenting with her hair, straightening it from time to time. The Speak Now era marked a transition towards a more mature and glamorous style for Taylor Swift, while still embracing the romantic and girly elements that had been her trademark. From around 2006 to 2011, Taylor's style remained more or less similar with refined elements. Her style wasn't groundbreaking or super interesting, but it was beautiful and timeless. It was rare to see upcoming artists dress like that. Her style went very well with her cute, girly yet elegant look, which made everyone love her more than ever. She was quickly becoming America's sweetheart. Sometime in 2011, she underwent a significant change that solidified the signature hair that we see now. For her Vogue cover, she adopted a new hairstyle and makeup look. She added, I love that I got to pose with my instruments. It's just so exciting to get to make a departure from what people usually see me looking like, but still be recognizable, and it was great balance between the two. Thus, this gave birth to what we know today as the iconic Taylor Swift look. During her full studio album Red, Taylor Swift not only experimented with her hair and makeup but also with her music. This was her first pop country album, a deliberate choice to diversify her sound and avoid being pigeonholed just as a country singer. She aimed to broaden her audience and fan base by exploring different musical styles. In this era, her fashion became distinctly twee, a prominent early 2010s trend inspired by the 1950s and 60s. This style featured mid-length summer dresses, florals, varsity jackets, and high-waisted shorts, all of which Taylor was seen wearing. Her style also took an edgier vibe, incorporating leather jackets, black ankle boots, and other rock-inspired pieces. She continued to draw from vintage fashion with a modern twist, including retro silhouettes, A-line skirts, and classic accessories, making her look as if she had stepped straight out of the 60s in the best possible way. Taylor frequently embraced bold, vibrant colors, especially red, which became a signature color for this era. She often wore red dresses, coats, and accessories. Her red lipstick became the go-to signature look, and she was rarely seen without it. Her makeup featured her iconic red lip and winged eyeliner combo while keeping the overall look soft and natural. Although some people thought that she dressed a little bit like a grandma, I believe this was intentional. She wanted to embrace retro elegance and distance herself from the controversial discussions about her love life in the media. Her concert fashion evolved from flowy dresses to sparkly bodysuits, shorts, and over the top costumes, all color coordinated to match the title of her album. Overall, the Red era marked a blend of classic and contemporary styles reflecting Taylor's evolving image as she transitioned from country to pop music. Her fashion choices during this period showcased a mix of bold, playful, and sophisticated elements, making her a trendsetter for young girls. 1989 was her first full pop album. Taylor embraced retro vibes, not overtly 80s inspired, but rather her interpretation of what she considered retro. Her hair was shorter than ever, and her wardrobe filled with trendy and fashion forward pieces. She often wore crop tops paired with high waisted skirts or shorts, showcasing a more playful and youthful look. Her outfits frequently featured monochromatic or color block designs, adding a chic and polished feel to her ensembles. She sported mini skirts and crop tops almost everywhere, while strolling through Central Park, attending interviews, or walking on the red carpet. The midriff trend was here to stay, though I personally think it was a bit overdone at this point. She delivered some truly amazing looks during this era, which was a refined and adjusted version of her Red era style. So far, we see an ongoing pattern between her style and music. With every album, we get to see a new Taylor, yet the changes blend well together, never seeming sudden or out of the blue. They tell a story and showcase the evolution of a young musician in the scene. I have to mention her platinum hair era, though brief, which got immortalized as Bleachella. During the spring and summer of 2016, Taylor Swift's style and taste in men took a bold and edgy transformation. Taylor debuted a short, shaggy bob with platinum blonde hair at Coachella. Her outfits during this time had a rock and roll influence, featuring leather jackets, graphic tees, and edgy accessories. She often wore bold makeup, including dark eyeliner and dramatic eyeshadow, complementing her platinum blonde hair. As the name Bleachella suggests, her style was inspired by festival fashion with bohemian elements like fringe jackets, high-waisted shorts, and statement boots. Taylor's look was also influenced by high fashion, as seen in her appearance on the May 2016 cover of Vogue, where she embraced a more avant-garde style. This era marked a significant departure from her previous looks, showcasing a more daring and experimental side of Taylor Swift's fashion evolution. However, her fling with this type of style and men didn't last very long. It was just a bit of fun for the summer, and she eventually returned to her original look. At this point in her career, she was a mainstream pop star with immense influence and power. Even tech giant Apple bowed down to her open letter in which she politely condemned their decision not to pay artists during an initial 3-month free trial of Apple Music. She was so huge that numerous articles declared Taylor Swift to be the music industry. So far, so good. Until the infamous brawl with Kanye forced her to go incognito and disappear from the public scene for nearly 2 years. This was a long time for someone constantly in the limelight, promoting her music, giving interviews, and attending award shows and galas. She was now nowhere to be seen, and the snakes kept coming out of the woodwork. Taylor took shelter in a safe haven with her long-term boyfriend Joe Alwyn. Taylor Swift came back with a bang when she announced her comeback album Reputation. The aesthetic for this album was something Swifties had never seen before, featuring dark, moody colors, snakes, leather boots, and fishnets. She fully embraced the phoenix rising from her ashes vibe and delivered look after look in her music videos. This era seemed to be like a cross between her style during Bleachella and the Bad Blood music video. It was a side of Taylor we weren't used to seeing. After all, she came back stronger and tougher after everything that happened, marking her new avatar and rebirth. During the Reputation album era, Taylor Swift's style underwent a dramatic transformation. Her wardrobe prominently featured darker colors such as black, charcoal, and deep reds, reflecting the themes of reinvention and defiance present in the Reputation album. She often wore bold outfits, fishnets, stockings, and combat boots. These pieces added a rebellious and assertive edge to her look. She incorporated statement pieces like sequined bodysuits, metallic dresses, and bold graphic tees, which became staples of this era. Her makeup was dark, eye-catching, and smoky. She accessorized with bold jewelry including chokers, layered necklaces, and statement earrings, adding to the dramatic flair of her outfits. Despite all of this, the dark and moody style of this era felt a bit dated and too millennial-esque. The change was sudden and somewhat over the top and slightly cheesy. While the shift made sense, it could have been done in a more tasteful way in my humble opinion. It seemed like she wanted the world to know that she was back and different this time, not the same innocent good girl they knew. Given what had happened to her, this over-the-top and rebellious approach was understandable. Her street style included a lot of oversized plaid shirts, knee-high boots, dark colors, and chokers. This was just another example of how she almost became a different person in terms of style with every album release. Clever marketing indeed. In 2019, Taylor released her album Lover, which was supposed to be her first album not mainly about heartbreak, but filled with the afterglow and high of being in love with her then steady boyfriend Joe Alwyn. Taylor Swift's style took on a whimsical, colorful, and romantic vibe, reflecting the themes of love and self-discovery present in the album. The whole color palette of this era was a complete antithesis of Reputation. Her wardrobe prominently featured pastel colors like pink, lavender, and baby blue, adding a dreamy and romantic feel to her outfits. From snakes to butterflies and rainbows, the transformation was evident. She embraced playful and feminine prints, including floral patterns, hearts, and tie-dye designs, which complemented the album's lighthearted and joyful theme. Taylor incorporated bohemian and retro-inspired pieces to her look, such as flowy dresses, high-waisted shorts, and vintage-inspired tops. She often wore outfits with sparkle, sequins, and glitter, adding a touch of glamour and fun to her style. Taylor accessorized with bright and bold pieces, including statement jewelry, colorful handbags, and fun sunglasses. From a storytelling perspective, this made a lot of sense. She was hurt and angry about what had happened between her and Kanye, and she channeled all her feelings and aggression into Reputation. By the time she was done with that, she stepped into the daylight. It was satisfying to see her go from dark, hurt, and edgy to light and happy, back to her whimsical roots. The idea was brilliant on paper, but it lacked in execution. We got to see some horrendously dated outfits like the tie-dye number, shapeless pastel suits, and random face glitter. Her off-screen style was at an all-time low. Look at these outfits and tell me if they do her any favors at all. The over-the-top rainbows and eccentric pastel outfits felt a little out of place with her musical persona that we've seen so far. It was childish and whimsical at best, but in a slightly cringy way. All in all, I think she went all out Katy Perry bubblegum pop, and let's just say it didn't sit well in 2019. Looking back at most of these looks, they really did not age well. Next, she gave us Folklore and her sister album Evermore, which in my opinion are among the best musical works after 1989. She returned to her country-leaning sound with instruments and melodies that felt so organic to her as a musician and songwriter. Taylor Swift's style took a more subdued, earthy, and cottagecore inspired aesthetic, reflecting the introspective and folk inspired themes of the album. Taylor's wardrobe prominently featured earthy and neutral tones such as beige, brown, olive green, and muted pastels. These colors added a touch of natural and rustic feel to her outfits. She embraced the cottagecore aesthetic, which included flowy dresses, oversized cardigans, and cozy knitwear. The style evoked a sense of simplicity and nostalgia. Taylor often wore plaid and floral patterns, adding a touch of vintage charm to her look. These patterns were reminiscent of the countryside living and folk traditions. Her outfits often layered and comfortable with a focus on practicality and coziness. She wore oversized sweaters, long coats, and relaxed fit outfits. The visual appeal of these albums was a stripped-back country aesthetic. This felt like young country singer Taylor, all grown up and evolved. The aesthetic here felt natural, not cheesy. The music and visuals flowed well. Her hairstyles were simple and natural, often featuring loose waves or braids. This added to an effortless and down-to-earth aesthetic. Taylor's makeup during this era was minimalistic and natural, with a focus on glowing skin, soft eyeshadow, and nude lips. This complemented the overall understated and introspective vibe of the albums. Overall, this era marked a departure from Taylor's previous glamorous and bold styles, showcasing a more introspective, rustic, and nature-inspired look that perfectly aligned with the themes of the album. In 2022, we witnessed the release of Taylor Swift's album Midnights. During this era, she adopted a 60s-70s inspired mod style, featuring a palette of autumn colors combined with cool lavender tones, along with cropped and fitted outfits. This style traces back to her red era but with a modern twist. The fits and the patterns distinctly evoke 60s mod fashion, and I'm all for it. Taylor Swift's style during this period embraced a blend of retro glamour and modern sophistication, perfectly reflecting the introspective and dreamy themes of the album. Taylor's wardrobe featured a mix of sequin dresses, satin gowns, and tailored suits, often exuding an old Hollywood glamour. She incorporated deep blues, purples, and metallics into her wardrobe, adding a touch of drama and elegance. Taylor accessorized with chandelier earrings, bold necklaces, and sparkling hairpieces, enhancing the overall glamorous vibe. During Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department era, her style took on a distinctively moody and Victorian-inspired aesthetic. She showcased a blend of dark academia and Victorian Gothic influences. Taylor's wardrobe featured corseted morning gowns, pleated preppy miniskirts, and chunky oxfords. These pieces echoed the dress and distress of Victorian literary figures who inspired the album's lyrics. The aesthetic was characterized by a stark black and white palette with shades of grey. This moody color scheme reflected the melancholic and introspective and wordy themes of the album. This style mirrored the emotional depth and yearning expressed in her music. Overall, the Tortured Poets Department era was marked by a melancholic style that perfectly reflected the sound of the album. Now, after going through her style evolution through the years, I feel that this type of 60s mod aesthetics and style suits her best. While I wouldn't call it straight up gamine lines, there is a hint of dramatic young essence in these outfits, with their straight, slightly cropped and well-fitted cuts that flatter her figure. The warm colors make her skin glow, and the hair and makeup are just perfect. This to me is her look. Compare this to the Twee era looks. While this look is also retro, it feels too gamine and makes her appear as if she has outgrown her clothes. Midnight's era style, on the other hand, takes into account her youthful facial features and also her long vertical line. It reminds me of some photoshoots she did a few years ago. Whenever she opts for a polished version of the 60s-70s retro mod aesthetic, she simply glows. Now, there is no denying that Taylor has served as some amazing looks over the course of her career. She has stunned on the red carpet in Oscar de la Renta and Elie Saab, and she has rocked in brands like Versace and Vivienne Westwood. However, I wouldn't describe her fashion as groundbreaking or experimental. She tends to play it safe and stays within the boundaries of what she loves and thinks looks best on her. She does break the norm occasionally in the hair department, and there have been a handful of times when she has shown up in something we wouldn't typically describe as Swift-like. Other than that, she has played it safe. For example, I wouldn't have been able to guess that this dress was Schiaparelli. In my opinion, Taylor made it look cookie cutter, like a pretty yet basic red carpet dress, lacking the over-the-top gold accessories that the brand is known for. Many of her casual looks right now also resemble something a popular sorority girl would wear. They're cute, slightly mismatched, with hints of millennial mixed with Gen Z written all over them. Given her status as such a huge star, people really expect her to show up and stand out like Rihanna, Zendaya, or Beyonce. We need to remember that a huge part of Taylor Swift's appeal is her relatability. I feel like she never had one type of style that resonated with her. Her entire aesthetic and persona was built for marketing her music and presenting it visually, similar to what musicians like Lana Del Rey have done. In my opinion, Taylor isn't a fashion girl either. She dresses to sell her music. Fashion is just a tool for building a world for her fans, and she does an exceptional job most of the time. I feel that she has reached a point in her career where she simply wears what she likes, experiments from time to time, but stays within her comfort zone and her bubble of what she finds aesthetically pleasing and enjoys wearing, even if it sometimes lacks cohesiveness. Which is pretty fair, to be honest. Now, she's no Zendaya or Anya Taylor-Joy in terms of style and doesn't need to be. The whole objective of her style is to be relatable to her fans and to appeal to a wide commercial audience. So it makes sense why she doesn't go above and beyond in the style department like some other A-listers today. Her entire discography has provided us with a lot of style and aesthetic inspiration, so much that you could put out few elements together and everyone will be able to guess the album. It's one of the reasons why her Eras tour was such a big and iconic hit. The Taylor Swift style universe is a masterpiece on its own, carefully crafted and curated over the years for her audience to enjoy, to hear and feel the music not only with their ears but also with their eyes. It makes us feel that we too have walked the path that she has and grown up and evolved with our favorite singer, observing her through all the eras, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we're still here.